Hi everyone, my name is Hasan Birol and I'm a Principal Architect here at Red Helix. Today I'll be demonstrating the breach and attack simulation by Keysight called Threat Simulator that allows us to continuously test and validate our security controls. First thing first, we'll log into our platform with our credentials. As soon as we have logged into our platform, we will prompt it with the dashboard view. The dashboard view will give us currently showing us what the current security scores are, what our scenario states are, and the status of all the scenarios that are running within the environment. Please note this is our lab environment, so there will be multiple different failed ones and successful ones in this environment. Prevention score is a very important key score here as well, because the higher the number is, the more protected you are and more secure your security stacks are. So in our example here, we're looking to simulate a test. First thing first, we need to make sure we've got the agents deployed. In here, we've got multiple agents that I've deployed. Some, of course, are offline. Now here, we've got 2 agents here that are currently in an online state unconnected up. In order to do this, clicking on the deployment tab here gives us the ability to download the actual agents. And the agents can be deployed in different environments. So it can either be a Windows native, a Linux native, or Mac OS, or even Docker, and also we're supporting the cloud in AWS and Microsoft Azure. As soon as the agents are installed and connected, they will automatically appear in the agents, and you'll get to see what the state they are and what features are available on each of these. After this is deployed, we want to look at the topology. And the topology allows us to set are what we call security profiles between agent to agent. So we have got agents that can talk to agents within our internal environment, and we've also got agents that are talking to what they call a dark cloud, which is Keysight's representation of simulating a bad server or a bad host coming in outside of the network. So when we have deployed this, the first thing we need to do after we deploy is configure a path because between our agents, there will be most probably some sort of firewall or an IDS IPS in between, or an EDR. We want to make sure these are configured because this will allow us the system will allow us to give us recommendation on any remediations that we need to do to apply in an event of some of our tests that we do, scenarios fail. So as soon as this is loaded up, we can either choose some of the profiles that are created, or we can create our own security profile. And there's a raft, a list of different profiles from different vendors that are supported from the platform. So in our example, we are going to use a generic, in this case, an IS and also a firewall example here. And this will give us the ability, in an event a scenario fails, any remediation that we need to, for example, a firewall rule that we might need to change within our firewall, or a signature that we need to update that's not been updated. If we have any EDR in place, we need to also make sure we can assign the EDR. As you can see, we've got multiple different types that we support from the platform. As soon as you're happy with that profile, you can click on Save and Apply, and that will go ahead and apply between the agent down to the actual dark cloud that we're connecting to.
Now the agent has been deployed and our paths have been configured and we have the connectivity, we can go ahead and run our test. There is 2 ways, of course, running this test, either by scenarios or assessments. The difference is a scenario is a specific emulated type of attack used to test security, while assessment is an overall process of one or more scenarios that want to measure security posture, identify gaps, and receive remediation and such. In our instance, we are going to look at running a scenario, and in the scenario will have multiple audits. So if I go ahead and click create a scenario, the scenario I'll be looking to do is against a policy, and the policy is actually checking to make sure any of the streaming media services that are now blocked within our network. So I'll choose policy in the list. I'll choose URL stream media, and if I click on detail, it will highlight all 18 audits that will be done part of that scenario here. You can also click on here and give you a description, which again, the goal of this to make sure to be able to protect the users from dimensions. So here with the agent I'm looking to actually use. I'll go ahead and name the scenario. So I'll call it URL test 1. And I'll click create and run scenario. This will go ahead from the dark cloud initiate to the agent that's installed in my VM environment and go ahead and run the test. The test on this example will take about 13 minutes, but we'll be skipping the video. So you can see now the actual system is running. And we should be able to see all of this will run in sequential. So start with 1. You'll be able to see the details of where the agents are, what the dark cloud, what the audit summary is, and also actually the actual measurement outcome. So as you can see, our first instance, we have measurement outcomes passed, and the traffic is blocked, which is what we expected. So this will go ahead and run the next step and follow on from that. So by doing this test, I'll be actually be able to see what my prevention score are. So as far as we're going through the list now, we can see multiple passes and going through sequential. As you can see, we've got so far 3 failed, and we can also see the reason why they failed. And the reason behind that is because the actual traffic was allowed. So we now need to go ahead and make some changes in our security posture to make sure these failed states become passed. So now go ahead and make some changes into the So now the changes have been made, and try and do a rerun on just one of them to make sure that my policy has worked. I'm now going to run on audit number 7 just to check to make sure the rules are applied are correctly added into the system. By doing this, I'll be able to just do a single audit, as well as take a PCAP to just reference against the system. And now, as you can see, that audit number 7 has successfully passed and the traffic was blocked. So now that the rules have been set, I can go ahead and rerun this test again, complete test, to make sure I improve my prevention score. The last test of course, the prevention score, we had about 3 misses. So I'll go ahead now and rerun this test again. So now I'll be rerunning that test again of 18 audits, and hopefully see the prevention score improve. So we're now on the last audit, 18, and we can see all of our tests have successfully passed. Just waiting for the last one to complete. And that is completed now. Also, I could use this to cross-reference to make sure the security stack is working as expected. Here you could see loads of more blocked traffic related to the audits that were done, that we've blocked the traffic. Now that this test is completed, I can go ahead and close this and go ahead and generate a report. And a report is a nice way to provide to seniors to be able to provide the outcome of the actual report. So if I go ahead, scenario, create my scenario, which I already created, which is called URL test 1. As you can see, we've got 100% prevention score now. I go ahead, click on the URL test, click on reports, generate report. I will go ahead and generate a report. Now the report is generated, and click on the download button here. I will go ahead and download the report. And here's the final report of the scenario showing my prevention score of 100%. And showing. Reason we're seeing detection results because I haven't put any SIEM in place, but if I had a SIEM in place and want to make sure detections are in place and we've got the results, then I can integrate that with the SIEM. Thanks for watching.